Yeah, this is a story that it's followed me wherever I go. My name is synonymous with the tape recorder incident. It always will be. I finally just, a couple years back, said, Shawn, just embrace it. It's part of your history. You can't rewrite it. It is what it is, right? Basically, long story short, stupid thing to do, looking back now, but I had absolutely no wrongful intent whatsoever. God is my witness. And I think most people, I've shared this story in interviews and I've had personal conversations about it, and for the most part, I think people know the truth, which is what I'm about to share again here with you. My dad is who bought me my first tape recorder ever because he knew I was a character as a kid. I used to always imitating people, and acting up. I was just kind of the entertainment bug is in my DNA. It's just who I am, right? And so he's the one that got me my first tape recorder. And then later in life, when I was training with WWE, it was even recommended or suggested by guys like Dory Funk and even Tom Pritchard, I believe had said this, but I heard it also through other wrestlers. Hey, man, you're on the road for hours upon hours at a time. You've spent a lot of time traveling. Get a tape recorder and work on your promos, work on your craft, perfect your craft, right? You're in a car for hours, tell a story, work on your character. And that's exactly why I had it. Basically, so that's why I had it in the first place, right? I'm traveling, I'm working on promos, working on my character or whatever, just trying to develop my speaking skills. And, there was a particular weekend where I was in Montreal. And of course, everything there is, half French, right? French language, speaking, writing, it's French, right? So I was traveling with British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, rest his soul, Steve Blackman. And I was on the road. And so we were on the road for a few days and I was traveling with them. And so I just thought it would be funny to record them bitching and complaining in the car because, two bodybuilder type guys, on the road for 3-4 days, it just, in a playful way, just bickering and goofing around and what, just that sort of thing. They were kind of at each other a little bit, kind of joking and trying to throw ribs on each other, just speak, in conversation. So I just thought it would be funny to record them. At the time, thought that was a good idea. Record them, and then I was going to later play it back for them, say, hey, this is what you guys sounded like, the last 3 days. As a joke, it was a rip. That's all it was. And there was a point, though, when I was at the Montreal airport, I think it was, and I had the recorder out, and I was acting like, say it was my recorder, like, hey, Steve Blackman, we're here at the Montreal airport. What do you think of Quebec and all this French stuff going on around here? And I kind of just did that, put it up to his face, and he kind of looked at me funny, like, he goes, hey, I can tell you didn't feel comfortable, right? He goes, hey, you're not recording with that, are you? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, you weren't recording with that in the car or at any other time, were you? And I said, and at that point, that's where I went wrong. I lied. I just flat out said, no, I didn't. Because I knew at that point, at that split second, and I'm an honest guy, I'm a very transparent person, but at that time, I had to think in a split of a second, oh, what should I say here? Because he doesn't really know me. Looking back now, it's a paranoid business. People share sacred, it's a code. It's one of those things where, if I was who I am today and I was in a locker room and some rookie guy comes in and I found that he's recording even a rib or not a rib or in wrongful intentions or no harm intended, it would piss me off and I wouldn't feel comfortable around that person. So I get it, but it was a really bad look for me because at that moment I said, no, I shut it off, put it in my gym bag, and that was the end of it. I said, well, there goes that rip. Basically, when I was asked if I was recording or had recorded, where I went wrong, I should have just been upfront and honest right then and there, but I said no, because I knew at that split moment, I said, these guys don't know me. They don't know me like my high school buddies. They don't know me like family. They don't know the goofy, have fun-loving Shawn that just I've always documented everything in high school. I was always the one with the video camera, always with tape recorders, always documenting experiences and funny things and skits and imitations and impersonations, right? And so, I just realized, I said, this is just, just tell them no. And I knew at that point the rib was done. I'm not going to go that route now. So I just turned it off, put it in my bag. Next day, we're at TV's. I'm I put my bag in the locker room. I go out to the ring, going over my match for that night, and someone says, "Shawn, you got to come back to the locker room, man. It's not good." I was like, "What?" I had no idea what it was about. I get back there, and all the boys are in the locker room, just staring at me, and they had my bag, and I had a bunch of cassette tapes in my bag too. This is back in the cassette deck with the Walkman, cassettes. I had that and had all these cassette tapes. And man, they had gone through them, and half of them were smashed and broken. And what had happened is they pressed play on my tape recorder, and they heard their voices on it, right? And Steve and Davey Boy, I guess. And so that was not a good look for me, man. That's essentially the story, man. And it was probably one of the worst times of my life. I was so petrified about losing my job, my dream job with the WWE. That I just felt horrible. I felt awful, man. And I ended up getting fired because of that. I ended up getting fired. And that's essentially the tape recorder story. I mean, it's just a rib gone bad, made me look real bad look for me. You heard the cliche, wrong place, wrong time. It's exactly what that was. The people that knew me believed my story. They knew guys like Glenn Jacobs, I think the Hardys, I think even Edge and Christian, I think they knew me well enough to say that Shawn didn't have any wrongful intent, but it was a stupid thing to do. And it costed me my job. And honestly, Devin, I don't think I ever recovered from that fully with that company. Now, what happened is I ended up getting fired, and man, it was very depressing, a very depressing time for me because I lost both my mom and dad. I didn't have, any family. I looked at wrestling as a family. I wanted to make that my family. And so when that was taken away from me, I was devastated.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.